Hey, it's Chris Bockhahn here in Chris Bockhahn's house. About a week ago, we had a flood in here, and I took a video, and Mary Kate really enjoyed that she had a video to show people as a visual aid as she explained why our lives were crumbling around us. Just kidding. We took it in stride. We're going to be fine. But she did really like the video, and she said, take more videos and take a really nice one and tour the house, update people on what we're doing here so that they can see what's going on. So let's take a look at our house. So the plan was to come in here and pull up the carpet, pull off the trim, lay down the engineered hardwood I already had bought, and put the trim back on, and then the kids could hang out in here, and then we could work on the rest of the house. But before I even got the carpet up, I noticed that the floor had rotted away in front of this door. So I pulled up the carpet, spent probably 2 weeks, waiting for it to rain and watching it and trying to diagnose exactly where the issue was. I mean, it was so soggy I could just stick my finger right through the wood. So eventually my father-in-law, who was awesome, he came over and he gave me a hand, and we had to pull out the door, take the siding off of the outside of the house, move the porch back, add a bunch of flashing, and then put the door back in and obviously repair the floor. In the process, he said, hey, why don't we fix that area next to the door since we're doing all that work? Which I was thrilled with. So the previous owner had a side light, one of those real skinny windows next to the door, and when he replaced the door, he didn't buy another door with a side light. He just bought a cheaper, skinnier door. And so in place of the side light window, he put some boards, and it looked bad. But that's going to be pretty low on the priority list of things to fix in this house. But since we had already done probably 3/4 of the work, he said, really, let's just do it. So the next day I got to work, and now it's gone, and we're thrilled. Another thing is that, there was a really big closet in here, and it did not look good. It just really didn't look good. It looked awkward, and it looked absolutely like an afterthought. It didn't go up to the ceiling or anything like that. And so we needed to make a quick decision. I'm putting down the flooring. It's going to go on the outside, the inside, and around the walls of that closet. And so neither of us liked it. It wasn't in the plans, but we said, you know what? We can either get rid of it now or probably never. So it's gone, which means there was some electrical stuff that needed to be done because there was an outlet in the wall that came, into the space. So I had to chase down all the electric and figure it out. And so now I've got to reconnect the circuit. But before I do that, I just got into a little bit of a side project, which is very cool. I'm very excited about. I brought over my little computer desk, which is a very small little thing, and I traced it on the wall. You can see the back profile of it there somewhat. And then I laid out where I want the new outlets to be so that they're tucked away and hidden. So we got outlets, and then this is going to be conduit that's going to run down through the walls and through these tubes. I didn't want to run specific like HDMI or USB or anything like that because I want it to be future-proof. And you can see those little holes here. This fits perfectly into there. And so after my desk is here, I'll have 2 monitors there, and you won't see any cords for any of it. One conduit will come up to about there based on if it's, cords coming to my desk, and then a separate conduit coming up there for HDMI to go behind the monitors. Very excited, having a really good time with that. Very cool, very fun, really enjoying this project. Let us skip this room real quick and come down this hall. And so here's the back door, the mud room, the entryway. It's a mud room. Probably not gonna do a whole lot, maybe some paint to get rid of the, to just freshen up the room a little bit. So in my other video, there was water pouring in through there, a light fixture hanging and a bunch of water pouring here. And there was, I don't know, at least an inch of water sitting in here. Tons of water pouring down here from a hole right here. So yeah, that kind of sucked. So I made that video and uploaded that while I, after I turned the water off and was waiting for some of this water to drain so that I could get the electrical and turn the electricity off so I wouldn't get shocked. I did that. And the next day, my super cool brother-in-law, Tim, brought over some fans that really helped dry this place out. So after I got the electric turned off, I just started ripping everything down and opening it up. And honestly, by the next day, by the time those awesome fans showed up, I mean, it was, it wasn't really wet in here a whole lot. It was just very damp everywhere. So then his fans got here, dried it out pretty good. This floor is wavy and lumpy. I'm still working on figuring out how much of an issue that might end up be, or if it's just, a slight wave that, you might not notice when you get some furniture in here. But anyways, come in here and you can see I just was working on ripping down that ceiling. But right here is the plumbing to the second story bathroom that the previous owner added, I think 7 years ago. And so he was running water lines of CPVC up here, and it appears that he didn't use primer before using PVC cement, so the pipe just popped out of the elbow up there and started spraying water everywhere. It was definitely not a burst pipe from the cold. It was just incompetence. So yeah, ruined some ceilings, maybe some floor. The walls seem to be okay because the walls in that room are plaster, so they might actually be okay. We'll wait and see about the floors. Bathroom didn't seem to get hit. Doesn't need a whole lot of work. It just needs spackling and a fresh coat of paint. There's stuff going on here, and I'll have to do something about the door because it's just looks fairly nice in here. So that's that. So come in here, the dining room, and this room had tile ceiling and we really disliked it. For one, it was too different. You can see that one is a different color from that one and a totally different pattern, and it had like trim, just flat piece of board coming across here to separate one from the other, but it wasn't fooling nobody. The ceiling tiles themselves looked bad, and it just looked so much worse that there was two different kinds up there. And then also this wood paneling, it's like warping. You can see it's fading and there's holes in it, and it just doesn't look nice, and we really disliked it. But we were just gonna deal with the ceiling, paint the wall, and maybe in 2 or 3 years tackle that project. But since the ceiling's kind of caved in here and we're already doing drywall ceiling, it just felt like the right decision to make to add a couple of weeks and another few $100s worth of drywall and get this to look so much better, and it's gonna be awesome. So that's the deal with the dining room. Originally it was just going to be pull up the carpet and lay down the floor, paint the walls, but looks a little bit different now. And so here's the kitchen. We had to draw the line somewhere so that we weren't just ripping the entire house down to the studs, because really this wasn't supposed to be a rehab. It was supposed to be move into a fairly nice house. Nah, not fairly nice house. A move into a house that was able to be moved into and figure it out as we lived here. So we really want this wall gone because it's a very small kitchen. Mary Kate really enjoys cooking, but also enjoys spending time with her family. So we would both really love this wall to be gone and do like a breakfast bar thing. But, gonna draw the line somewhere. That'll happen later. So that line there matches up with this wall here. So when this and this are gone, we can expect the wall to come out here and go there. So theoretically, you know, the fridge and stove could stay where they are, but also maybe they'll move. But that is something to be figured out at a later time. Here is some of the hardwood flooring that I bought that is now just hanging out, waiting to be installed at a later time. Some of it took on some water and is drying out. One of the very few spots that had drywall ceiling that looked really nice ended up being waterlogged and full of black mold. So that was really disappointing to pull down because it was one of the few ceilings that looked really great. So I'm in the process still of figuring out exactly how that moisture is getting there because there is no water lines above here. So I'm thinking it might have something to do with the ice and snow up on the roof. We will figure that out. Let's take a look upstairs. So the upstairs was redone, I think, about 7 years ago. It looks pretty nice. The carpet is stinky and needs to be removed. So I'm just gonna get some more engineered hardwood and probably some area rugs. I did come up here and pulled out the old coaxial cables because I'm just working on getting rid of a massive amount of wires that are no longer needed. And just, yep. So here's the bathroom. It's nice looking. It's very, you know, it's not done. He didn't finish. But I do rather like the aesthetic of the bathroom. I do. Maybe it's because he's not done, but also maybe it's just things like this drive me insane. Like there's just no trim here, and this block it just looks stuck in there. That's not finished painting, and it's just gigantic gaps, absolutely everywhere you look, and it's just I don't like it. And you know, there's no trim here, but this trim is different from this trim, which is different from this trim. And it just, I like it, you know, I like the color, I like the feel. It feels cozy, cool, but I just need to button up his work, I guess. But, you know, finishing half decent work is a lot better than ripping apart decent stuff and redoing it. So that is very nice. Okay, almost done. Let's head to the basement real quick. This is what the basement door looks like. And we come down here and it is empty. Let me just unplug that. So there was a lot of stuff down here and it was extremely dirty, and it's still fairly dirty. But it is just, I'm just so excited about how much cleaner it is and how much emptier it is. There was just a ridiculous amount of wires hanging all over here, just swoops and swoops, and it just, there was coaxial, phone line, security system, and tons of dead Romex electrical cable. You know, he'd run a new line and he would just cut the old one at the box and just leave it up there, and you know, there's still plenty more to be removed, but I mean, it was a gigantic pile here. So that's one of the things I've been working on. Over here, there was a whole system of copper pipe that went to an old washing machine and an old slop sink. And so I, you know, did some copper soldering, capped those off, and got rid of that mess. There was what I would consider a fairly dangerous flexible copper pipe hanging off of the propane line, and it curled down here. So you got rid of the old propane water heater and installed the new electric one and just left all the hookups and stuff. And it was just a big flexible thing, probably 8 feet long, just flopping around. And if a kid grabbed it and yanked on it, it might crack and fill our house with propane. So I capped it. That's nice. What else? It's cleaner. That's nice. There used to be studs on all of these from the concrete forming. I came through and cut those. This crawl space used to be smaller, but I got a nice saw and cut it so that it's much nicer and open. But the reason that I did that is because when he added the addition in the crawl space here, he just had this flexible ducting just coming from there, just like flopping in space through here and just kind of stuck through here, and you can see part of it there. And it's just not efficient. You know, you want nice laminar flow, especially to get heat to an area of the house that the furnace wasn't designed to heat. So when he added that, he just left the old ducting here up there. You can see a nice hole up in the dining room. So I removed that. I'm going to close that off because obviously we don't need an air duct there. And I'm going to do a nice 6-inch diameter hard HVAC ducting here, and then I'll do an elbow and then an elbow, and then I can run them straight across the bottom of these floor joists, where before this was sticking out here, so I would have had to come down and then over and then back up. It would have been 4 different elbows there. And now by cutting that and opening this up bigger, it is just 2 little elbows. So, certainly much better with the laminar flow, because that's what we love. Did some projects outside, did some projects in the garage. I spent some time to build a workbench in the garage so that if I need to run out there and do something quick, I won't get frustrated with, the working conditions out there. So that's the gist. Sorry this video was so long, but hey, we're doing a lot. So please come and visit us and see that our house is going to look, it's easy to kind of get real bummed out because there are a lot of projects that we're working on here that we didn't intend to do and really would have preferred not to do. And some of those projects led to making decisions of moving up projects we're going to do in a couple of years to, move it up much sooner. It's pretty easy to kind of be disappointed and bummed out, and all of the financial reasons that are a bummer that we're not moving in at this point in time. But I tell you, most of the time, instead of getting bummed out, both of us are just getting really excited because this house is going to be so much nicer in a few months than it was going to be. And that's really, really exciting. And we just can't wait to move in. And so come over, check it out. Okay, love you, bye.